Hello YouTube, welcome to a video regarding how to jungle when you have 3 losing lanes. So I'll first say that you will quite often, if you've played jungle, find yourself in situations where you have a losing lane, maybe 2 losing lanes, but rarely will you have 3 losing lanes. But this game I arguably have 3 losing lanes, and I even have a person completely grief me, but I still managed to win the game. And I'm going to explain my thought process throughout this game. The first thing I want to say is that if you find yourself in this situation, don't expect yourself to win. You very rarely are going to win these types of games. But I'll showcase how I did it, and maybe you can copy it and be able to also win your 3 losing lanes type of game. So I'm playing Kha'Zix into Lee Sin. I actually counterpick myself since Lee Sin has True Sight on his Q as well as his E, I believe, and Karma has it on her W. So this is not an easy Kha'Zix game whatsoever. And to give a little bit of context of what's happening, my bot lane, Ezreal, said that, oh, Ash is taking my CS. I am going to go mid lane because I don't want to play with this as support. So Ezreal now goes mid lane and starts us griefing the game, just sharing experience with our Victor, who had done nothing up until this point, which forces the Victor to go to bot lane and become our AP carry bot lane, and then we have Ezreal mid lane. Not ideal, and obviously he is just griefing, and I have reported Ezreal, and hopefully in a few days he gets banned. But that's not the point of this game. So we just end up clearing. So far the game is quite chill, and I realized that my Victor hasn't decided to lane swap just yet, so I decided to just go bot lane to take CS and free gold and free experience, until eventually my Victor will come down to bot lane. So I'm just staying here for one wave, trying to get all of the gold and all of the experience. And now Victor gets down here. Fortunately, Ash ends up dying to the Jhin W. And then I decide to recall, and then I go top lane. Now my top lane also ended up dying, but easily still a game that you can come back from, despite having a person low-key griefing, because of the fact that Victor decided to go bot lane. If Victor decided to keep staying mid lane and we had 2 people mid and only 1 person bot, the game would be a lot more difficult. But shout out to the Victor for being willing to lane swap. So here I just flash onto the Talia and get a free kill. But as you will see, we are still down by 1.5k gold. And here I go top lane just to cover, because I see that Lee Sin was on the top scuttle. I see it right here because of the Ashe E. I realized he wants to go to top scuttle, and then I thought quickly to myself, okay, Lee Sin could possibly go for a dive here, so I'm gonna go top lane to cover, just in case that he will go for it. And what we'll end up seeing is that Lee Sin did try and go for it, but he missed his Q right here. And he then leaves. So I'm then kind of expecting the Lee Sin to go onto my red buff here, but he doesn't end up going, so I'll just take it. But we are now down, yeah, I mean 2.5k gold. And it is not looking good right now. Then my bot lane ends up dying once again, meaning that the game is now almost 4k gold lead for enemy team. My Ezreal ends up getting a kill onto the enemy Talia. I evolve my ulti. I see that Lee Sin is only level 5. I know he's about to hit level 6, but as long as I have Invis and isolation damage, then I can kill him, which I do. And I then instantly decide to go to the most important objective, being Rift Herald out of Rift Herald and Dragon. So I instantly go up here, and I know Lee Sin is not going to come onto top side because he died in mid lane with blue buff, meaning that his red buff is going to spawn soon. So he is going to be on bot side. And then here I was thinking about taking my entire top side, but then I realized that my bot lane ended up dying, and enemy bot lane is very low HP. So I was hoping that maybe enemy bot lane would greed so that I could get a kill, and otherwise I would possibly be able to play for the dragon since the enemy bot lane was going to reset anyway, meaning that my bot lane would come back to the lane first before the enemy bot lane. My bot lane once again ends up dying, but enemy bot lane ends up being greedy. I don't end up spotting the Lee Sin on the dragon, unfortunately, so they get that. I kill the Karma, I get Jin's flash, and then I kind of fuck up here and end up over chasing. Could maybe have killed Jin a little bit faster if I used my smite instantly and had isolation damage. Which meant that I ended up dying, and then my Victor also ended up dying. Top lane also ended up dying, and the game looks very, very rough now. I have a 0-2 top laner, 0-3 Victor now AP carry, 0-3 Ashe support, and I have an Ezreal who is 1-0, but he is down by more than 20 CS, and he is basically griefing the game. So at this point, a lot of people would simply give up and start typing FF15, which my teammates did. So I decided to just mute all, and then yeah, just try to limit test, try and push myself to the limit. Try and see if I could outplay my opponents through mechanics rather than just good macro, because enemy team is pretty much stronger than mine overall. So I'm pressing tab here, and I really want this Jin shutdown of 950 gold. And I just forced this flash previously. So I see Ashe arrow hitting, really good Ashe arrow. And I end up getting the 950. So now I have a ton of gold, and I don't really want to force any fights. So I'm just gonna take the Skull Crab base, spend my gold. Now I'm willing to fight, because now enemy team overall is a lot stronger. They're up by still this 4k gold lead, but if we press tab and look at individual gold, we'll see that the enemy top laner has 1.7k gold more than my top laner, but I have 1000 gold more than the Lawi. I have 2000 more gold than the Lee Sin. Enemy mid laner has 1000 gold more than my mid laner, but I almost have 2000 gold more than her. I have same amount of gold as enemy AD carry, despite enemy AD carry being 2k gold up. My AD carry on my support is also 1k gold behind, but I have the most amount of gold in the game shared with Jin in that spot. So if I can find picks individually, like here onto Lee Sin, I am equally as strong as the enemy. So I'm looking for a lot of 1v1 fights, and I'm not looking for too many team plays. Which is what you're gonna see here, that I'm gonna be running around a lot by myself looking for picks, and not really looking for 2v2s, 3v3s, 4v4, 5v5, because I'm gonna be losing out on it. But if it's a 1v1, I should be winning it, because I have the most amount of gold in the entire game. So I'm basically just playing for myself and not really focusing on my teammates. And more or less just using my teammates as a bait, so that I can trade kills constantly and pick up the shutdowns of the enemy team myself, so that I can eventually end up carrying the game myself. So here I end up flanking, using Prowlers through Jin to E onto the Karma, and then kill the Jin afterwards, which means that I am now capable of getting this Drake, because I've now killed the enemy bot lane. So I have a numbers advantage, which means I feel quite confident in making this play. Lee Sin tries to go for the steal, he ends up failing it, and I end up getting it with a Q. And then, once again, they're fighting here, but we have a 3v2 in our favor, so I will gladly take this fight. Could maybe have saved my teammates, or save my Victor at least, but once again, I get a kill. And then here, I want to see if I can catch the Jin, who's rotating down. So I see him here. I almost end up one-shotting him, but I force his flash. And then, yeah, we have to basically make an outplay here to get out of this situation. Ashe luckily snipes the Jin with a W. And then enemy Karma's gonna step up. And then I have to basically low-key outplay it. Just burst her, wait for her abilities to be used. Get another kill. And now we are still overall down 4k gold as a team. And yeah, none of my teammates are really even close to being ahead, but I have 10,000 gold. So I almost have a third of the total amount of gold on our team, and I have almost 2,000. I actually have 2,000 more gold than Jin, who is a second most gold. So all I need to do is just keep on looking for picks and make sure that I don't die too often. And as long as it's a 1v1, then I will basically always win it, no matter who I'm playing against here. I was trying to look for the Talia. She didn't end up stepping up, so I just end up basing. Go to my top side to keep on farming. But then realized that Rumble ended up getting killed. So if the enemy was gonna look for something here in the top river, potentially I could look to kill them. End up kind of using E over the Talia E, which is not really what you want to do. So I end up actually wasting a lot of time here and actually baiting my Ashe to death. To end up baiting the Talia flash out as well, but this was a pretty bad sequence. Just because of my E. And then here we can take the fight slowly because the enemy team is very low. This is what you see here. I'm not really diving in, but unfortunately I end up getting snared, so I can't flash W. But another great ass arrow and we get 2 kills. Instantly rotate into the objective, being the Rift Herald. And then there's a Drake fight coming up. And here I'm making a questionable Herald, but I just want some topside pressure. So I decided to use the Herald on top to potentially get the tier 1 tower in top lane. Not the best Herald. I could probably just have kept it and used it either after we win a fight or use it in mid lane for mid prior, which is more important for Drake. But yeah, I instantly run through the Drake, and I want to get there first, so the enemy team has to run into me. Because as long as the enemy team doesn't have vision of me, I am very, very strong. But as soon as the enemy team has vision of me, they can kind of just lock me down. Because they have 2 champions with true sight, they have a decent amount of CC. So, yeah, like a Sin kick, Talia W, Talia E, Karma W, stuff like that would be very, very annoying. But now the enemy team has prio in the river, so I have to kind of find a way to get in here. So I decide to walk into this bush, and then I see Escher ult, and then I'm just going in. Instantly kill the Talia, kill the Karma. Enemy team can't finish off the dragon. Now we have a 4v2, so I know that we can win this. End up to the other side of river here. Now it's a 5v2. My team kills the Alawi, I kill the Sin. We get the dragon. Jin is now on top lane. And we're still behind overall as a team by 2k gold. But we do have 1 more Drake than the enemy team. And we did half the enemy team's lead. We got it in half. Here again, Jin is all by himself, so that's another free kill for me. And this is basically just what I'm constantly looking for. Constantly looking for 1v1s. I'm not looking for these like big team fights. I'm basically just looking to get free kills constantly over and over again. And basically making sure that I don't die, because as soon as I die, my team is essentially useless, they can't do anything. So here, Ashe Arrow, I one-shot the Lee Sin. Try and one-shot the Karma. Could probably have one-shot it, but I didn't want to agree too hard for it. But I could probably have one-shot her, and then maybe we could have rushed Baron. Even at this point, just killing the Lee Sin, I really wanted to do the Baron, but team didn't really want to do it. So I end up basically just going for another pick here, because I know that they don't have vision in here. So I end up killing the Talia. I killed the Karma as well. And then I end up unfortunately dying to the Jin, but I got his flash at least. But yeah, I should probably just have ran away here. It was a little bit of an int. And I can't really afford to make many of these mistakes because I'm basically the entire team. But gold lead wise, they barely have a gold lead now. It's less than 1000 gold. So you could say, oh, now you can fight as 5 people and you would win team fights. Well, that's not really the case, because if we take a look, my top lane is down 3000 gold. My Estrel is even with the Talia. The Jin is up 4000 gold onto the Jin. And support is still even. So my Victor is very far behind and my Rumble is very far behind. But I also have a 6000 gold lead onto the enemy Lee Sin, and I have a gold lead on anyone else. So we're not really too interested in 5v5s. We are more interested in still just playing around me and my pickoffs. until my team can get more items and scale and meet more free farm and objective bounties, whatever. And here, once again, I try to avoid the enemy team's vision, so I try to walk into as many bushes as possible, use my Ghost Blade and use my upgraded Blue Smite to basically get into the enemy backline and then just one-shot them, and then just play it slow. And then I just take the Wolf Camp for a little bit of HP. And I realize that this is not really ideal fight for me. I don't want to fight them 1v2. But I see that Lee Sin is going to go for a play here, so I just one-shot him. And now I know that the Illaoi is also isolated. So once again, I'm not afraid of anyone in terms of 1v1. So I hit the W, and then I just instantly fight this guy. I was thinking about again going to the Baron, but I would have to wait 10-15 seconds for my team to get there. So I'm trying to look for a pick-off in enemy team space. Don't end up finding anyone, so I quickly just jump out again. And then I'll unfortunately end up dying here, because enemy team end up exhausting me and Talia E again. And then I end up giving another 1000 gold. Luckily it doesn't end up mattering, because the Karma also ends up dying as a trade, and Lee Sin was dead and Illaoi was dead, meaning that the enemy team could not get Baron, and I would still be alive for when the Drake spawns. So Drake spawns in 20 seconds and I spawn in 10. So as soon as I get out of base here, I'm just running straight into the Drake. And now I have my level 16. And once again, I want to get there first, so I'm skipping all my jungle camps, just running straight there to try and secure the dragon. The enemy Lee Sin gets a kill, but we get the dragon. I jump onto the Lee Sin who has nothing. I get a reset. Kill the Talia, get a reset. Kill the Karma, get a reset. Kill the Jhin, get a reset. And then I basically just decide, because I didn't get a quarter kill, to not chase the Penta. If I got the quarter kill, I probably would have chased the Illaoi for a Penta kill, but I decided to just go Baron, because it was only a triple. We then get the Baron. And once again, I'm looking for a pick off. So here, I really want to get to this red buff, but I don't want to path in a spot where the enemy team will have vision. So I'm going to run up through mid lane, and then I'm going to run here so that they don't see me. And then I'm going to run into this bush, sit here and wait with my sweeper. I'll check if it's worth it. It's not. So I'm just going to sit here and wait for someone to do the red buff or step up in mid. And here I see someone step up in mid, and he's getting one shot. And then I go back to take the red buff. I spot a Jhin, so I quickly run after that guy. Decide that he's also all by himself, so as long as the enemy team is just spreading out like this, then I'm getting a ton of free kills. And as of right now, I'm 26 and 4. But most of my teammates are still behind in gold, but we are finally ahead in gold now by almost 4,000 gold, and we have 2 more drakes than the enemy team. And then I'm just playing it very slow here. I don't really have to go all in. I don't have to go crazy right here, right now. Could just play it slow, wait, and try and play for a soul, try and play for the next Baron, but eventually I find an opening. I get 2 kills, and with the Baron buff we can then push 1 inhib for free. And then here I was actually thinking about just going into bot lane and opening up a second inhib, but my team wanted to end. I was like, okay, let's go for it. And yeah, we just end up winning. And then it is GG. So the things to take away from this game is the fact that if your game looks very, very, very difficult, you should have the mentality of try to win. So try and make plays, try and make something greedy. Try and get some shutdowns, try and make something happen in the game so that you have a chance of getting back into the game. Don't play the game passively and don't play the game like you normally would, because that way you are just slowly going to lose the game. You need to play risky, you need to play aggressive, try and get the shutdowns and try and get back into the game. Most of the time it will fail, but what you have to keep in mind is the fact that you were most likely going to lose anyway, so the fact that something fails and you lose harder doesn't really matter too much. You actually end up just saving more of your time. And if it ends up actually working out and you get back into the game, well, then you actually have a chance of winning it. And that's basically what to take away from this game. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions regarding this game, then leave it in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you. And otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, then leave a like on it, and yeah, subscribe for more content. So yeah, see you guys.